there are 4 generations in 2 Timothy 2:2. What are the 4 generations? Paul. Good. All right. Who's the second?
Timothy.
Third?
Faithful men.
Okay. And fourth?
Other faithful men.
Yeah. Okay.
I was going to say, there's actually a lot more people on the Timothy line, because he said, where you heard from me in the presence of other people.
Ah, good. That's, you are a sensei. Sensei. Awesome. Yeah.
I don't know, we don't know if the other people are passing the stuff down. You heard me in the presence of other people, you pass it down. So
Right.
you be the faithful.
And so, David, what does that and this communicate to you? What are you thinking?
Well, I need to pass things on.
Okay.
I mean specifically the fact that Timothy is in the presence of other people, I need to pass everything on to everybody.
Okay.
Basically, and the people that take it are the people that are, like, that's one quality of faithfulness.
Okay. Good. Any other observations about this? I'm going to use this word. Yeah, I hope it comes out right. Multiplicative process that's going on there. What does that speak to you?
Adding to what David said, not just that I need to pass it on, but I need to pass it on in such a way that it is passed on.
Okay, right. It's got to be reproducing, right? Okay. One of the things that Deb and I did for 30 years is one-on-one discipleship. Now, this is not a bashing of one-on-one discipleship. I still do that. Deb and I still do that. But what we have found is 1-on-3, 1-on-4. The church, when the church gathers together and we have these discussions, they tend to be more healthy. Because I forget stuff. Do you all ever forget stuff?
No.
Never.
Yeah, I thought I was totally alone. And when you're in this group of 3 to 4 and you're trying to get across these biblical principles, how many of you have found that the younger is also helping the other as we're trying to communicate these biblical principles? You're not the master teacher that knows everything. Actually, as a community, we're discipling one another, aren't we? And so when I got into that one-on-one relationship, and that was my exclusive mode of discipleship, it sometimes sets up a very unhealthy relationship where I'm the guru and you're the student. And you do what I tell you to do. But when we're doing this in smaller groups, now, you can't do this with 20 people, can you? I mean, it's very difficult to get the potency that you need. But there's a healthy balance in there. And what I'm saying is, you notice Jesus did very little one-on-one. Very little. But in that smaller group of 12, boy, did he get a lot done or what. And then you had 3, Peter, James, and John. So, anyways, I want to point that out. What were some of the qualities that you saw in this person that you want to invest in?
Teachable.
Okay, teachable. What else?
Willing to suffer.
Willing to suffer. Good.
Hard work.
Hard working.
Somebody who walks with God.
All right. A person walking with God. Good.
Got his doctrine straight.
Okay. He's biblical, right? He's a biblical thinker. Good. What else?
I think men or women could be
Okay.
included.
Yeah.
I think.
Timothy's or Timothinas? Right. I agree. Good. What else?
Able to teach others.
Able to teach. Good. All right. So we've called out some qualities. We probably could go throughout the entire scriptures and call out a whole bunch more. Does this person have to be perfect in all these areas for you to invest in them?
No.
Absolutely not, right? We'd all be disqualified. We'd all just need to leave, put our tail between our legs and hang our head low, because we wouldn't cut the mustard. But in general, we're talking about a faithful person that wants to know Jesus, become like Jesus, and tell others about Jesus, right? So why are we having this discussion?
Like David said before, because we want to do it. We want to find these people.
Okay, why do we want to find these people?
This is the backbone for leadership development.
There you go. That's right. How does this relate to the parable of the sower that Jesus taught?
Finding those fourth soil.
Yeah. How many of you have worked with second and third soil people and just poured your life into them? Anybody else make that mistake? What's that like? What is that? Oh man! I have a saying. It's you can't push a rope. Okay, that's what you're doing. You're trying to push a rope. If you have to drag the disciple the first 10 miles, you'll have to drag them the last 10 miles. Okay, so I'm not in the business of dragging, whipping, other motivational skills that I just don't want to have. What I want to do is I want to find that fourth soil man or woman that is eager to follow Jesus in everything that means. Now, we have a little acrostic that we use. I'm looking for fatter men and women. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Fatter men and women. Faithful, available, teachable, and reproducing. That's who I'm looking for. If you decide not to invest in these kind of people, I can guarantee you a lifetime of very frustrating ministry. And if you feel squeamish about this, just go back to Jesus. Who did he spend the lion's share of his time with? Now, these guys weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer. They weren't the fastest or best looking, but they were loyal to the hill. When Jesus said, hey, the foxes have holes, the birds have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to rest his head. He was telling those guys, if you want to follow me, you'll use a rock for your pillow. And the guys did it. Those are the kind of men and women that I'm looking for. And when you find them, you got a tiger by the tail. They will produce a crop 30, 60, 100-fold. That's what I want to give my life to. Those kind of men and women. Questions or comments before we go to lunch? Because the only thing that stands between me or you and a meal is me. So, questions or comments? must be hungry.
I do have a question. Just looking at the Paul, Timothy, faithful men, others also, I can just hear the question from people. Couldn't that be understood to be Paul to Timothy, Timothy to this person, this person to this person, this person? In other words, couldn't it be understood as one-on-one, but just many one-on-ones, and each of those
Absolutely. And so, where do we go to clarify that question?
the life of Jesus?
Yeah, go to Jesus. You got the woman at the well, maybe Nicodemus, Peter and John chapter 21, but it seems that at least in two of those, people were in earshot of what was going on. And we can definitely not make a case from Jesus' ministry that he did a whole bunch of one-on-one. Again, for the record, I'm not against one-on-one, okay? But I'm not going to practice it as my primary method of ministry. Yeah, Keith.
Aside from stock answer, hear the Holy Spirit, how do you evaluate fatter? And how long do you give yourself to evaluate fatter?
It depends on what season of ministry you're in, okay? If you're just starting and God gives you a one-eyed, three-legged lamb, that's who you work with, okay? Because you're just starting out. And when Jesus just started out, I can probably make a case that Jesus did the first Galilean tour by himself, looking for these faithful men. And remember, Jesus didn't say to the blind man, did you have a quiet time today? Oh no, I'm sorry, I can't help you. He loved everybody, but he only trained a few. And so when you're first starting out, man, you're throwing seed everywhere, you're loving everybody. But what's going to happen is your quiver is going to get full of good men and women. And now you have to select. Now you have to look at the faithfulness. So based on the season, if I'm just starting out and I say, you know, I've got 5 guys and I can only concentrate on 2, it may look like, hey, are you guys reading the Word? And 2 of them say, yeah. And 3 of them say, don't have time. Okay, I only have room for 2. Which one am I gonna, invest in? And there's all kinds of different areas. My big filter up front is, will you share the gospel? If you will not share the gospel, then my stewardship of the gospel is being placed into question if I invest in you and you have a fantastic time with Jesus and won't tell anybody else about it. I'm probably not going to train you. In fact, let me state it emphatically. I will not train you unless you are willing to pass on the good news to other people. So in the beginning stages, it looks like that. Later on down the road, as you progress in developing leaders, it may be who is global in nature in their leadership influence. I may have to go after that. Deb and I looked at, because we had so many people that we were working with, and these are L4 and L5 leaders. If you don't know what that is, it doesn't matter. But we're working with 37 of these people. Well, my hair's on fire. I can't do that, man. So I had to narrow them down. And I had to ask myself, okay, who is having the most influence in the kingdom today? I also had to ask myself, who potentially can have the most influence? Because one of the guys in the Church of the 12 is a young guy who's just starting. But he wrote me an email and said, I want to go to UUPGs and I'm willing to die on the mission field. I want that guy on my team. if you're willing to die for Jesus and other people, I want you on my team. So there's some criteria that you're looking at. That's a very long answer, but
He's an encouragement to everyone
Oh,
who
yeah.
talks to.
Yeah.
That little guy. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Brian, yeah, young guy.
yeah,
He's awesome.
Can I ask one more curiosity question?
okay.
Have you ever had a fatter disciple who was very fruitful that you did not like at all?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if you like them, you'll not like them eventually.
What's that?
If you do like them, you eventually
You
won't
might not
like
like
them.
them, yeah.
Sometimes down the road.
Just because they're gonna become a big leader and then there might be some conflict and then.
And that's really an issue of what do I value most? Chemistry or the kingdom of God?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to make that tough decision, and I don't always, but most of the time say, okay,
Okay.
it's like walking on broken glass, but I'll do it. And that, Jesus died to himself. Can you imagine what Jesus was feeling like with these guys? Are you still so dull? I could imagine Jesus had his moments. All right.